Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So we're now on day 2 of the Beast of the Bottomless Pit event, and the relic is out. So it is called the Axe Tech, and it does have the same properties as the light version from the Golden Guardian event, so that it does create 4 fire gems as normal, and also it has additional property called Special Spiritual Sacrifice. If more than 4 fire power gems exist on the board, create 1 fire power gem 1 as long as a spirit is on the team. And so I did go ahead and get one of them. I was hoping to get 2 within the first 2 tiers. Didn't get that this time, didn't get lucky, but it's okay. What I wanted to do today is show a couple of things. One, I have a couple of teams that I've built. So I have this one and another deck here that they both use Domi, but this one actually uses one of the support cards from this event, and so we can show how that works. And I've also put in the relic in here. I'm also going to show the light version of this deck. So it's exactly the same thing as the current event deck. I don't have it, but I do want to show some of the game mechanics of this deck, so that I will be using this. And also what I will be doing is I'll be summoning Rothark. So I got enough token here, and it wasn't easy to collect, but I will tell you that if you are able to, if you're hitting levels higher than 200, you'll see it's a lot easier, because starting level 200, all normal bosses will drop 20 tokens, and if it's a Inferno boss, then it will actually drop 60 tokens. So it's 10 times more than when it's at level 199 or lower. So it's going to become a little easier starting today for you to collect the necessary tokens. Now again, let's take a look at this boss here. So Rothark World Eater. Okay, you do have to collect 1,000 tokens, and you can only summon it once. So I can only summon this boss one time in this entire event. So I've already told my guildmates to keep it alive a little longer, because if you look at the rewards here, at some point you can't get any more once you have more than 500 million points, because you need to get these totems, and the totems only get dropped by the Rothark boss, and you need 10 of them to get the last reward. So make sure that if you are able to summon it, get as many of your guildmates in it as much as possible. So let's go ahead and summon it so that we can see what this boss is like. Go ahead and do the summon. So we've summoned a Rothark, okay, and so I think it should show up now. Okay, so here it is, and so the entire guild has been rallied. It is a a level 300 boss at it has 24 hours cooldown, and it has 75 billion, or actually less than 75 billion health. Now let's take a look, and so you get this totem, and it's 75 million trophies. Unfortunately, I think that's a little low, because if you look, we also happen to have a Dojin here. So Dojin Ascended has 12 million, but I think if it's a Inferno one, it has a little bit more, at least the same. So I kind of feel like this is a pretty high health boss, and I wish that it had a little bit more trophies for this, but it is going to be very tough for those who can't deal as much damage, so I can understand why there's that trade-off here. So anyways, let's go ahead and do a couple things. Let's go and use our teams I've built to talk about what I've done here. So this is my go-to deck, right? So this is a deck that I did invest that has a Flama and Basterius, but not everybody has these ultra rare cards, and I don't have the event deck this time. So these are a couple of decks that I've built to try and see how much damage I can actually deal. And now my Gem Silence character is Flameheart. I could bring in a Warden, but Flameheart also has a nice skill that actually heals me for a little bit, and it's really helpful for these type of events, for these fights. So that's why I keep her in here. And so let's get this a try. So for this first team here, I have my demigod here, Penelope for a gem creator, and then also Blazing Glory and Cecilia the Proud. Now, I brought in Domi here, and the way I'm going to play this is I'm going to try and raise my intensity as high as possible, so that I can actually create more fire gems, and then use that to power up the entire deck. And so let's see here. So this is the first attempt here, and I do have a couple of I'm using as many glaives as I could. Well, I'm using 2 of the glaives, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and actually stop wasting time here. So I have 2 glaives, and so I'm using that to also help out as help out with my power gem creation. But now you'll see my goal here is to just create as many wait for as many turns as I could to build up my intensity, and then you'll see I'll use my heal here. I'll also use Flame Heart now to build up her Fable intensity, because the more intensity she has, the more she'll heal later. It just, anything I can do to sort of help out here. Right, and so Blazing Glory will create 2 power gems if there are at least 8 gems on the board, and Cecilia the Proud will create 2 if there is less than 100% health. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and do a match here, and let's see how much damage we deal. And so I'm using Penelope to actually power up the demigod heroes, and so that's about I think 300-400. So I didn't actually do very well this time because I was kind of slow and I talked a lot. So there's another about 500 million damage there. Let's see how much we dealt in total. I believe this should come out to close to, so it's 820 million. I could easily deal a lot more than that if I was a little faster. And so that was one option. Okay, so you see here I did take advantage of the relics, and also I do have a couple of cards that I've collected from the previous events. Now these were sort of the required cards from previous fire events, and I did get them from the collection. Now let's go ahead and use this other deck. Okay, that does have the support card here, which is the Cannibal God. And again, we're going to be using Domi as much as could, but you'll see who the actual damage dealer is going to be. So now let's see here. Let's go and do another fight. And the way I'm going to play this is very similar. And I do have, 2 of the relics from the previous Bodana event, the Water Spirit event. And so it helps boost spirit intensity, and so that's why I have them in here. And so now what you see is I'm building up the power gems. Okay, so the new relic, which is actually you don't see it here. It actually gets created immediately. So this is funny because I have there's a couple of interesting mechanics going on here. So I have the axe and I also have the glaive. Now you'll notice that you see the animation for the glaive, but you don't see the animation for the axe. So they've actually, what they've done is they've actually made a change so that the animation for all of your new relics now don't appear. So if you have multiple copies of it, you only see it the one time. And unfortunately, they didn't do that for the older relics yet. And so what that means is, you still see it show up. And I'm not sure when the time frame is going to be for them to fix that just yet, but for now, just have to sort of deal with that. Okay, so let's think I can probably deal 1 more damage. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna just do 1 more turn here, and then I'm going to activate Domi. Oh, I was planning on using the light gems there, and then I got distracted when it got converted. So I could have done one more attack pretty easily there, but it's okay. So let's see here. So we were at 800 million damage earlier, and now we're at 2.9. So this team was capable of dealing 2.1 billion damage with that. And this was me being distracted, not really talking. And so again, let's take a look at this deck again. So this is really viable. Okay, so I'm using Idalia. The Bright, she's one of the cards that you can get easily from the Dust store if you don't have her. But I'm I'm also using Domi as my leader because he does boost warriors, and the Cannibal God is a warrior spirit card, and he, only at level 11 was still dealing more damage than Domi was. Okay, and so he's truly the main damage dealer here, but everyone else here who are warriors are also able to really chip in and deal some good damage there. And then again, so Flameheart is both my healer and also Gem Silencer, but the real I think the real MVP is really just the fact that I have a couple of relics that could create power gems that end up powering this relic for me, and along with Domi's ability to generate more gems on the board is how I was able to deal as much damage as I did. Now let's go ahead and use this deck here, which has one ultra rare card. Okay, so this would be the same as the Holy Death, and then the lustrous one is going to be the same as the Ozomatli, which is the giant ape. I'm running with two of them, but you can also use another version which just has the one. And I have Tilok here, which is the same as the support card, the Cannibal God. Okay, and I have Lita here as my Gem Silencer, but you can bring in anybody else. Okay, and then for relics here, I'm boosting as much as I could, so I have 3 God intensity generating relics, and then I have another relic to generate more light gems, and then I have Alien's Spear. So let's go ahead and see how this deck now works. So let's go ahead and so we're at 2.9, so we'll go ahead and attack here with this deck. So this with this one, it's a little different. So my goal here is to try and create as many separate power gems as I could. And right now I have 2, and that's the goal here. And if I can create just one more light power gem, I'm going to be golden. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly try and do that. All right, so now what I can do is I can create another one. So I need at least 4 power gems on the board before my relics will kick in. And so I'm going to go ahead and activate Lita. And now you can see that I now have more than 4 power gems. And so I'm going to go ahead and I just basically play it kind of like how I normally would with Domi. But, really I'm just waiting for this to if I could get it up to intensity 200, I would want to do that, because I can only create additional gems if I have 100 or multiples of 100 intensity. And I'm going to go ahead and activate Tilok to give me some immunity to damage. And then the next turn I'll be at 200 intensity, and at which point I'll be able to go ahead and use the battle skills. That gives me 4 power gem 4s, but that's still sufficient there. And so let's see how much damage we deal here. So that's approximately 3.2 billion. Okay, and now you'll see basically I kind of have to go ahead and rebuild my power gems again, and unfortunately I'm gonna just have to wait here. And I think I'll build 5 this time. Okay, and so I'll go ahead and activate Lustrous. And a lot less power damage this time because I didn't actually connect them very well. So this deck, the way I played it, I dealt about 3 billion or so. Not as impressive as I would like it to. Again, I think that if I weren't talking and doing this at the same time, I think I can do a lot better. But I wanted to make sure I commentate as well. It still did well. It's a powerful deck. It's just that you can notice it's a little bit slower, and you really need to make sure that you get your power gems in order to really benefit from the relic there. So it's not my favorite. I also only am running with 1 ultra rare, and obviously if you have 2 of them, then you'll double the number of power gems and you'll double your score. And so it's it is what it is. I think if you just have the 1, that's what it's going to feel like. And so now let's take a look at Rothark here. Let's see here. Let's see so you can go in here and take a look at the team intel. Wait, it doesn't actually tell you. It doesn't actually tell you what his skills are. So I guess what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and it uses the guild key, so I can just go ahead and I just want to see what skill it actually has here. So it's 75 billion, so it's not too terrible for me because it actually has less health than a level 200 world boss. Okay, and then let's go ahead and use another turn here, and let's see what spell it will actually cast. Wait, what? Does it do anything? Or does it just deal damage? I think it... Does it just deal damage? Okay, so it just deals damage. There's really nothing that... okay. It doesn't have gem silence or anything like that, so you can bring your favorite team. You just have to make sure that you have enough health, because obviously this deals a little bit more damage than your regular boss. Okay, so that's that. That's Rothark. I do want to bring in my full team, but I don't want to kill it. So the way I would be playing it is I'll just play a little bit. This is how I would play my deck. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in and do a fight. And basically the way this works, it's the typical Domi deck where you wait for your passive, you let your passive spawn your power gems. And typically the way I normally would play, if you have this type of deck, it's best to actually use up all of your fire gems on the first turn if you can, because what you want to do is you want to actually increase your intensity while building up your power gem. But if you have too many fire gems on the board, what ends up happening is you end up crowding, and then the power gems end up getting too close to each other, and then you sort of have to match it before you're ready to really use it. And so I prefer personally having less and letting the power gems sort of build up. Okay, and then typically if I can get it at 150 or so, that's what I want to do. So let's go ahead and do one attack here. Let's see how much I can actually deal for full attack. I think I lost my power gem there. Okay, so yeah, so I can deal a little bit over 12 billion just with that one attack there. Okay, I'll do one more. And I'm gonna quit out after this because again, like I said, I want to make sure that all of my guildmates get a chance to fight and not kill it right away. Yeah, and so that's pretty much that's Rothark right there. So if you do get your tokens, make sure that you just gonna click quit out. So make sure that you get as many of your guildmates in as possible, because they're gonna need this totem in order to get additional rewards here. So some of the rewards are going to be your core shard. There's gold, potion, tier shard, and additional wisp cores, and then finally you have a 5-star warden and a crown shard, which I think is really what most people want. And so anyway, so that's it for this video. Hopefully this helps. Hopefully some of the cards I've shown give you some idea, and they can help you build something that will work for you, and also get a chance to feel what the event deck feels like. And so, as always, if there's any feedback, anything that you like to see more, please let me know. I'm always looking for additional ideas. And so thanks for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.